Okay, it looks like we're all good here. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Engineering the Markets. My name is Jared, and it is January 12th, 2023. Happy Thursday to everybody. As the title suggests, we kind of have a singular focus this morning, and that's going to be the release of the CPI report. We're looking at this as an 8:30 Eastern data release. So as soon as this particular segment is over, we should be seeing that CPI volatility. And certainly if you're going to be trading it, you want to be prepared for what the market expects that volatility to be, along with actually looking at the data itself, maybe even skimming through where some of the major changes in inflationary percentages happen to lie. Of course, food, energy are often the main consumer staples, but there's a lot of other industrial impacts. You might be looking at commodity pricing changes along with the overall outlook of how that is an aggregate impact for the economy. So just to get everybody on the same level, we are looking at the inflation rate year over year, core inflation rate month over month. So I would say like these two line items are the ones that most people kind of focus on. The CPI without food and energy, so ex food and energy, is going to be marked as your core inflation rate. Make sure that's correct. No, sorry, the opposite. Sorry. I'm confusing myself. So without food and energy, it's going to be marked as core inflation rate year over year, and then month over month. Most of the estimates are not too significant, especially month over month, but the market as a whole is expecting a decent decrease year over year. So whether you're looking at the with food and energy or ex food and energy, there is an expectation that this number should be coming in much lower from this last December of 2021. So these readings are going to be important, but also what the market price movement is expected to be. And that's really where we want to focus for now. If we're sticking with the SPX, we looked at this yesterday, and for the most part, it hasn't changed, but the actual price of the SPX has changed simply because we've been rallying as of yesterday. SPX was able to get to about 39.70 on yesterday's session. We're still pricing about a 73-point move. So I would just argue 75 points of volatility in the SPX. And once again, that would easily lead us above 4,000 if we were to see a bullish reaction. Consequently, to the downside, we would give back probably the 3,900 prints, and we'd be targeting about 38.75 to 38.80 at a minimum. So the rally has kind of changed what our targets are, but the volatility itself has remained fairly elevated and similar to yesterday's readings, just with different closing prices to manage. Also remember that Friday, we should be seeing a little bit more price movement, but all in all, the majority of that range should be defined today. And whether we see consistent selling or buying, or maybe just the reactionary range where the candle kind of defines your highs and lows, just understand that you have to be willing to deal with at least 75 points of SPX movement. Similarly, if you just look at the SPY, you can do the same analysis. Here it's going to be about $6, and we closed yesterday at about $395.50. So once again, a breach of 400 would be within that expected move today, 401 to 402, along with the downside approach where we're going to be seeing potentially some give back of yesterday's session. 390 would of course be conservative, but as you look at the option chain today, there should be the higher open interest nodes, some of the downside hedging that's taking place. 385 and 380 are still quite elevated. So if data is worse, or the market's reaction to it happens to be worse than expected, those 2 to 2.5 standard deviation moves are prepared. They're ready for that type of price movement, and the market appears to be hedged for that opportunity. So really the idea here is the directional bias is up for the market to tell us. I will say that the rally has gone a little bit beyond what I would expect for this type of counter trend move. We're hitting essentially the 61.8% retracement levels from the highs and lows of the previous reaction that we got from a CPI print. And this is a good area to kind of anchor to, because we're trying to understand where the market's priced relative to a previous reaction. And that's, quintessentially another weekly pivot, but it's also a high to low trade that's currently going on. We're hitting a fib extension where I would expect some profit taking to take place. The CPI reaction could easily turn that on its head, and we need to be willing to accept that because we're in an uptrend. The path of least resistance tends to be the trend, albeit we're hitting some major resistance from December and November. It's essentially the previous trading range that we spent a large time inside. And more importantly, we're also hitting massive VPOC levels. This is what I would consider to be the quintessential VPOC for the SPY over the past 3 to 5 years. This is where most, I would say, transactional operations are taking place. We have the highest volume readings at this price. And that also means that the market's ability to move decisively from this area, due to the fact that there's a build of a lot of inventory in these regions, can occur. Once we kind of know the direction, I would expect that direction to be decisive, essentially to never really have to look back once we get the confirmed move up or higher or lower. So it's an odd place to take trade today, but arguably our edge is that we know about how far the market wants to move. We know that if the reading comes in higher than expected, or maybe not really seeing the type of percentage decline that the overall trend of inflation cooling is suggesting, if any of those things happen, there could be, of course, a bearish reaction. But even if the market gets the expected value, I think we have to trust the trend. So far, we're still holding this daily uptrend. And while we could give back today, as long as we don't break 2 days low, this daily uptrend does have some potential behind it, and we could continue this rally over the next couple sessions. The last thing I would be looking for, though, is if the CPI readings come in significantly lower than expected, aka not only are we seeing the cooling of inflation, but it's happening much more drastically as of the maybe past couple of readings where there has been a slight pullback. Those reactions may start to change how the market treats this information. The thing I would be looking for is, do we see selling on a reaction such as that? And in doing so, is the market starting to look more at a recessionary theme versus the inflationary theme? Obviously, we would need to see inflation not really be in the forefront of what the market is trying to always evaluate. And once again, this is something that we haven't seen quite yet. So it would need to come in the forefront during one of these types of economic data releases. So all that said, I would spend some time doing the analysis of those types of volatility ranges. If you're trading the NASDAQ, it's about $5 to $5.50. If you're trading, let's say, the futures market, ES did hit 4,000 as of this morning. But once again, the volatility should be similar to what the SPX is pricing, just with different price regions to sort of anticipate the move. For example, we talked about 75 points in the SPX, and that would be equivalent in ES. But of course, ES is trading a little bit higher this morning in anticipation of this event. So no matter what product you're trading, for the most part, if you know approximately the volatility of the indices, and of course, a lot of stocks will react initially to whatever move takes place, the next move, the actual, I would say, building of some sort of trend may require a little bit more evaluation of how wide the reaction is and what the actual data suggests. If it's, like I said, if it's hot or if it's not within expectations, I would expect this rally to kind of give back a good portion of yesterday and the past couple of days moves. If it's cool, we continue rallying, but I wouldn't mind looking for maybe some topping action just based on the technicals. And then, of course, if it's much cooler than expected, we want to be cautious of the idea of a change in theme. And we could see selling, but it might be a confusing looking outlook for the market, simply because if it's that much cooler, it should be perceived bullish, but all in all, the theme is what matters. What is the market actually prepping for if we see inflation no longer the forefront of information? So given it's Thursday, and given we're going to cut off a couple minutes early just to get ready for the CPI, I figure we can look at any sort of charts or suggestions for today. A lot of people have kind of been scouting different opportunities. There's been sort of your relative strength and things like airliners, and people are looking maybe for some oversolds in the technology names. We're also getting a little bit of leadership for the first time in stocks like Amazon. It might seem a little weird to call this one out, but this is one of the few mega market caps that's breaching some of the MA trends decisively. So there's been a lot of leadership in stocks like Amazon. I would expect to see, if we continue to rally, Amazon does have a little bit more room before we hit our next major resistance. So this one might continue to be one to watch. And yesterday, of course, was a great trading session for that stock. So Nvidia, I think it's setting up. I do like the fact that we've held some of these lows. There was a pretty major give back, and once again we reverted. Once again, though, I like to anchor things based on the more obvious highs and lows, and we've already bounced about 40% from this low, just based on the highs and the lows. We're also getting into sort of your initial backtest resistance. Not to say that this can't continue to be bullish, but I'd be looking for at least a short-term rejection as we push into maybe the 200. This continues to be kind of a wall where price can get rejected pretty quickly in a lot of our key stocks. Not to say that it's always resistance, but ever since we've been downtrending, as soon as price gets to the 200, it tends to be like a sell. And the thing we're looking for a lot of stocks to do is to finally get over the 200 and hold it. There's only a couple of names that have been sold for a while that have done this type of behavior. And in doing so, it's triggering the idea that these may be a new multi-cycle bull markets. Getting over the 200 decisively is a very important achievement for a lot of stocks. So So the first time it hits, it often rejects. Second or third time, there might be some resistance, but if we can get over it, that's often blast off. That's where things really start to change. Not to say that stock's going to do that, but I think a lot of people would probably be watching for that, because it'd be a good confirmation that you can start to trust some of these weekly lows a little bit better. And obviously, lots of stocks are trying to get into a weekly. There's not too many stocks that have been sold like this that are back in weekly uptrends. They bounce really hard, but then they pull back, and something like Nvidia wants to get out of this region and do something like a inverse head and shoulder. So to be bullish is to basically trust lows. And right now, because we're not in that type of trend, it's always a speculative low because we haven't cleared the high. And more importantly, we know that we can kind of get stuffed in the middle for a while. It takes time. So I like to at least look for those opportunities and trade through them as best as possible. I mean, you can tell where it bounced, but you also know that high is important, because some traders are still trapped in Nvidia at these prices. So it's just the constant cycle of trying to get over the price resistance. MRNA, let's take a look. I think there's some opportunity here. Once again, right now we're kind of trusting that we're not going to get back inside this range. And one thing that you might notice is the 50 had to catch up with price recently to start to pick it back up into a little bit of some bullish behavior recently. There's obviously this wall that we sold from, and what it kind of does to price here is it gives you the sense that there might be a little bit of an upward trending resistance on price. It's not perfect, but you can kind of tell there's like a widening of volatility, because every time we've hit this low, we've made it to a higher high, but the give back is all the way to the bottom. So the price volatility here suggests that if you're going to be bullish, you probably want to put your risk underneath this region, because if it loses it, the downside risk on MRNA is that we start to collapse back to about 120. And from there, it becomes more of a range play, which obviously is a much better opportunity because we've seen it a couple times. But in this moment, you're trusting this. You're trusting the 50 to be the bull. And, there's this little information, which is like a sell into a turnaround buy. That's bullish. I think it's a little volatile from this point. If we were maybe trading here, I would have said, watch out for this breakdown. And then when we turned, we could probably trade in the short term up to this rising resistance. So a kind of an odd chart. I would argue that this is still in a sector that's been showing some recovery strength, and not so much the entire healthcare sector, but more so the pharma stocks. Remember, when I claim sector, I'm usually looking for areas of that sector that are going to be much stronger and bolster the entire sector. But really, when you look at healthcare, there's pharma, and that's where you're going to get Eli Lilly, Merck, Pfizer. I'm surprised MRNA is not in here. Where is it located? Okay, it's in biotech, actually. I thought it was actually in pharma. So knowing kind of where the stock lies and seeing if there is some relative strength maybe in the other stocks will give you a little bit more confidence in that if you want to target one stock and the technicals look right, you can actually play towards those moves, even if they're lagging a little bit. because you're expecting the whole industry or sector to be boosted. So, but yeah, I thought mRNA was categorized with Pfizer, but it's not technically, and it's also a much smaller component. You know, Pfizer is still 5% of the healthcare sector, but you know, these two have always been the leaders. They're the market cap leaders for healthcare. What about Tesla? Let's see. We just looked at Tesla. Remember that earnings are coming up, so a lot of these longer term plays are at risk of earnings. Currently, we're getting into earnings season, so just be on the lookout for all of your mega market caps coming in. But the structure here is an inverse head and shoulder. Tesla has essentially, so long as we don't lose the move from this week, we have a weekly bounce that is almost confirmed because we just have to close the candle. If that's true, we can look at other weekly bounces and say that they're not great. But if you're anywhere near the lows, this is still, you know, 20 to 30% upside as long as you're somewhere within that region. The question then becomes how oversold Tesla got. Does that make the bounce opportunity higher? And I think if I'm looking at the longer time frame on Tesla, if we're bouncing this low, which the argument is currently we are, as long as it holds, the next region I would try and target is not necessarily the high of this entire consolidation, because unlike when this formed, we weren't bullish. So I can't expect it to consolidate the same. I would actually expect it to bounce a little differently. One of the price regions I would look for is somewhere around 129. You could argue maybe a little bit lower than that. And we've, for the most part, gotten close to that yesterday, but then it came in quite a bit. That would be looking historically. If I'm looking at the technical structure now, it's based around this inverse head and shoulder triggering. And we tried to trigger it yesterday. It wasn't really great. You know, it was almost the first attempt to get over, and it gave back quite a bit. But if it triggers, your neckline is based around the first bounce and the high. This is a lower low, but it's a lack of follow through. And when it bounced, it came all the way to the high. So there's your, you know, first two steps. And then right now we're kind of trusting a tighter pivot, you know, a tighter high that could still break the neckline. And all that's going to do is get us to the 20 for the first time. So really we need to see Tesla not only clear this neckline, but actually have like an expansionary candle. And I think that's the problem with yesterday's trade, is that not only did it give back, but it was at the neckline. So it tells you that bulls right now aren't confident in holding the position. They're willing to either sell short term, and then of course there was like that reversal we got intraday, along with the fact that we're trusting this low. And technically we didn't finish filling this gap. There's a little bit of room here. So we might want to see if they can finish the gap fill, and then we're going to get into earnings. So it's tricky. I think Tesla is built right now to be short-term traded. I wouldn't necessarily be interested in swing trades because of the earnings risk. And additionally, right now I can play, you know, a third to a half of the current range on the intraday. So I don't have to hold it overnight. And that's an advantage. You know, I don't have to take overnight risk. But we're obviously trying to get over something. We're trying to get over that neckline. So that's the bullish play. The bearish play is that the bulls have barely tried to reverse it. And, you know, if they reject again, you could maybe start to trust one of these little poke out events and see if you can come back in. At the very least, just to hit the actual neck support, shoulder region. So That would be your Tesla kind of play. All right, I'm gonna look at coin, but then we're gonna cut it just because the CPI is coming out. My view on coin is we're seeing some recovery price inside of crypto right now. And this is not only cryptocurrency tokens, but also the crypto stocks. Coin, Mara, Riot, Hut, MSTR, there's kind of your key names. They're all bouncing. I would argue that some bounced at the right spot and some were a little trickier because they made fresh lows. Coin was one of them. But you can tell based on the chart that there's a defense going on. There's a recovery. And whether it's range play or whether it's some sort of capitulation into depression, anger type of trading, if you're looking at psychology of how cycles work, those lows are circling back. Ideally, we want to see a pullback. Like, you don't want to chase these moves, but if you're not in them, you know what the risk looks like. They could give it all back very easily. What we want to see is a pullback. And I think in waiting for that, you're going to have to just be aware that the rally is going to be pretty large, because in order to trust a pullback, we need the room to set up the pullback in the first place. And a lot of these are giving us the room, but they're not necessarily the best candidates unless you're trusting some random price. For coin, you could almost target something that comes in right here, or you can just assume that as long as we keep pushing, I can be bullish. But it's risky. It's a little bit of a momentum versus an actual trend. So you're having to be aware that momentum gives you the room for the trend to form later. We're not really in an uptrend. We've just been pushing off of lows. So, all right. With all that said, 2 minutes to CPI. I'm going to cut it off. Trade safe. Be prepared. And of course, you can wait till after the reaction and then take trades later. So have a great trading day. See y'all next week. We'll see how this works. Talk to y'all then.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to PreMarket Prep. Hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hopefully, you guys are had an incredible day yesterday. All right. Thank you, Jack, for engineering the markets. Thumbs up there. And guys, let's get right to the big elephant in the room today, which is going to be the numbers being released shortly.
20 seconds.
Norm, what do we have so far? I'm going to try
Well,
to
you
fix
have
my
no camera
while I'm doing this.
Yeah, you fix that. We've got 15 seconds till CPI comes out. Let's see what happens. We've already had a hell of a run up this morning. So we're expecting month over month CPI negative 0.1, core CPI up month over month 0.3. And that doesn't look good. Look at that. Lost it all. In line year over year. Everything
There we go.
Came in exactly as expected. So Yeah, everything came
All
in
right.
exactly as expected. I wouldn't be surprised to see this turn around a little bit. But jobless claims came in at 205,000 versus 210 expected, so essentially expected. Continuing claims came in a good chunk lighter. So, see how this pans out. A lot of times you'll get these numbers, you'll get a move on them, then you'll turn the other way. I don't know if that's going to happen, but the entire gain we essentially reversed from 2/3 of a percent up to 2/3 of a percent down. Now we're bouncing 1/3 of a percent down. So give it a few minutes to settle, and we'll see what direction the market starts to take. For the rest of the day, we've got Fed speakers sprinkled throughout. 11:30 St. Louis, 8:45 Philly, 11:30 St. Louis, 12:40 Richmond. Federal budget at 2:00. None of that really is going to have much to do with the rest of it. This is going to be the main point of today, and then if any of these Fed speakers say anything out of the norm. So yeah, let's see how things pan out.
All right, thank you, Norm. All right, guys, let's get right into it. Looking at our gappers list right now, as you can see, we got quite a bit of stuff in the red and in the green on both sides of the field. That's gonna change a whole lot, guys, once we start seeing on how the SPY is gonna settle out here. So let's give it a little bit of time to kind of see some of the things that might change or come up on this list. Right now, the SPY is down slightly. That's the initial reaction, but as Norm said, let's see how it's gonna shake out in just a bit. There is some stuff here that looks interesting. We have some airlines. I see American Airlines on there. They've been having a tough time with a lot of cancellations, although American Airlines is still up 3.7.
American Airlines is
They're
basically
crushing
this morning. They pre-announced,
Yeah.
and
So,
their numbers they had were way above estimates, like double. So
that definitely looks really impressive here. And their run the last couple of days too. We've been watching this. Has been actually pretty nice as well. Oh, I'm showing the wrong chart. Excuse me, guys. Right over here. Look at their daily here, guys. I mean, that is impressive. All right, so we'll wait a little bit to see what's going to happen here, but let's see what's gapping up already. We have Mara on deck, which again, guys, I'm not a fan of trading this at all, so I won't be looking at this. We have TSM, which is a foreign ticker. Once in a while,
trades
though,
pretty
Norm.
well though.
Yeah, it trades very good. Actually, it's been trading a lot better recently than it used to do in the past. So today they're up 3.2, 860,000 shares traded. Might be
Good
worth
earnings
keeping.
this morning. They beat
Yeah.
by a hair.
All right, I'll keep them as a possible. They're not my go-to stock, but again, they're looking good this morning, guys. Up 3%, 62,000 there. Let's take a look at American Airlines as well. A little bit more detail here. Up 4%, 4.8 million shares traded. I'm interested to see what this is going to do today. Looks very, very good this morning, man. Crazy volume. That's what we like to see on this type of ticker. CLF, I'm not a fan of. I don't think it trades very well. It is up today 2.7 with 127,000. But again, I think on a day like today, we're going to find better things to look at. I will hope so, especially as we get closer to 9:30,
I would
as the
agree with
SPY
that.
as the SPY kind of settles out a little bit. Here is EURN, and no fun here. Gap down a few days ago. It's been on our gappers list ever since, but again, just nothing really to see at the moment. And then Delta Airlines also up. Is this a sympathy move as well?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Also on their daily, looking really good, guys. So some of these airlines, I mean, just slowly grinding higher here. Again, they've been beat up so much, guys. If you go back here, so slowly seeing a little bit of light here this morning. But yeah, American Airlines is the one to go with there. We have a few more coming up on our list, which again, this list is going to continue to grow as volume keeps pushing around here. We have Disney on deck. Any news on Disney, Norm?
Yeah,
Anything
they
fun
appointed
there?
a board member or a chairman, and they've got an activist that's after him that's not real happy with what's going on, and there might be a little bit of an internal fight there. He's not a fan of Iger, who they just put back in as the CEO. So
Yeah.
we'll have some corporate drama going on for a little while in Disney.
Okay. We'll see what happens there with Disney. So that's our gap up list so far. Let's see what's gapping down. Take a quick look on how the SPY is moving at the moment.
Get
There we go.
whiplash in the markets, man. We're
Yeah,
already back to green,
back
up
to
a
green
third of
already.
1% again. So
Yeah. So a lot of back and forth action right now in the SPY. So AMV this morning. Ooh, what is this? This is no good. No good, guys. Down 18%.
yeah, this is a low float EV manufacturer. They started moving some yesterday and selling off a little bit after that today. So.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, not really in play at the moment. This is Logitech LOGI. Man, big gap down for them, down 17.3, 140,000 shares traded.
It's a Swiss company. Obviously, they make webcams and mice and things like that, computer hardware. Because of where they are, they announced late last night, and they're opening down big time. So
yeah, no, they're getting smoked here, guys.
Very difficult.
Yeah, I was gonna
Not
say
fun
that.
to trade ticker.
Look at the volume here, guys. Not one of these days is above, a million shares traded. So today they'll do probably a little bit more volume than they normally do. But again, it's just even with this catalyst, it's just not easy to trade. BioR this morning they are down 12.4. Again, another one that's seen some crazy action the last 2 days. Yesterday, the day before. Today they're gapping down 13.3. I mean, guys, risky. I don't even know what the flow is, but it's got to be 6.8. So very low flow stock. You're going on the third day here of this move. The longer the more days that this happens, the riskier it gets. Especially once you start doing less volume. So be very careful. No fear of missing out on this thing, guys. It had a great move from here to here. For those that trade this type of low flow, had a nice gap up yesterday, giving you a little extra pop. Today you're gapping down. It's again, you're gambling now. The fun could be over on this thing. So careful if you're trading that. Oh, look at this. Budweiser. We were talking about this just yesterday or the day before. And they're on our list today, down 3.1. Doesn't trade very well. Foreign ticker.
It's even worth looking at.
Yeah. What is it? Just
garbage.
News or some probably earnings or whatever. Who knows? But again, not
who cares?
Yeah, who cares? Actually, earnings is not even now. It's in March 2nd. But again, not worth watching at all. S, never heard of this. And another one that we don't care much about neither. Again, just nothing happening here, guys. Horrible daily, no volume. And just I don't see anything great on this thing. Then Roku. Wow, I haven't looked at Roku in quite some time. Roku here is down 2.6, 188,000 at the moment. And there must be something, right? Because Roku barely moves. We haven't seen it on our list in a while. I see Netflix is gapping up. So is there some like positive news for Netflix and not Roku? Netflix is gapping up slightly here after a nice run.
Netflix has been on a run. They're quite different businesses in reality.
Yeah, that's true. They're not in the same streaming services, right? Roku is a bit different, actually. You're right there.
Roku's hardware. Netflix is a media platform.
100%. Down 2.4 again. We'll see. Man, at $47. I don't know how well this has been trading. I have not been watching it. It looks like it has some activity. Might be worth keeping as a possible if it's going to give us some old time Roku type trading, right? Let's see if it can do that, but not sure what's happening with it today. And then we have this somehow HKD manages to sneak its way in there. Wasn't in there a couple of minutes ago. And it's here. This is the garbage stock that you just want to run.
Oh, it just popped up on my list, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's brutal. All right, Norm, what do you like this morning? I know a lot still is dependent on what this does.
I can't make my list yet. I got to see what this market's going to do. We've gone into full chop mode. Frankly, I'm really already done trading. I traded Tesla earlier and got $1.50 or so, $2 out of it.
Yeah, that's actually one we're going to watch is Tesla, guys, for sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty decent shape on that. I'm under the weather. I'm sick. My wife got me sick, so I don't know if I'll trade anymore today. That having been said, if I was going to, I really need some time to see what kind of trend we're going to start after.
Yeah.
Because we were up 2/3%. We dropped down 2/3%. then we were up 1/3%. Now we're back down 1/10%. We're just in mega chop right now, and that's gonna what the market does is going to
affect everything, right?
affect everything too much. Even the stuff in play is going to be affected like that until all this kind of settles out.
Yeah, I could not agree anymore. On these type of days, guys, our usual suspects do very well. I see a lot of you guys throwing some stuff out already. Sunday throwing out Tesla, which we have. Amazon will be another good one as well. Let's look at Amazon here. Yeah, Amazon will be a nice one. We'll throw that on deck. Apple, of course. We'll look at AMD next. See here, Apple. Yeah, Apple just kind of doing whatever the market is doing, so that'll be good. Love the volume today. Look at the volume today compared to yesterday, guys. 2.2, 1.4 million shares on these Amazon and Apple. Tesla has just been doing its thing all year. It seems like all year long. Above 4 million by this time. But even TSM, even American Airlines. Well, American Airlines released numbers, right? And they're just looking really good. Really, really good volume today. Doesn't mean that it's going to be an easy day, because sometimes you can get some really choppy activity. But yeah, it's insane. Matthew, what is BBBY doing? I won't trade it, but that's entertainment. Nothing. Oh, it's gapping up. Look, it's coming back to life here. Yeah. Oh, I'm not trading that. All right. So Tesla is good, guys. Amazon is good. Apple is good. Let's look over on our YouTube chat. We have Carvana. Joshua, is Carvana? It's not a good trade, man.
Too.
Yeah, it's not really good. Be careful. I put this in the same bucket as BBBY. It just doesn't make sense for me to trade them the way I trade. It's just not something I'll be looking at. BWENE, those two will come back to our trading lists if they get some kind of deal. Somebody's going to bail them out, put a ton of money in them, and they start getting above $15. Then yeah, they'll probably be in play, because they'll be rallying for a while. But other than that, I don't see me trading those things. Nvidia, let's look at Nvidia, and then we'll look at AMD as well. Forgot about AMD. Yeah. That is great, man.
Raph just put
that's exactly what. So Raph Silla just said
Carvana and Bed Bath & Beyond are going to move.
Are going to merge.
Your place settings are going to be in this massive vending machine.
Oh man, yeah, I would love to see a nice China set come down. Vending machine.
Car with a blender. God.
Oh man, garbage on top of garbage. Love it. All right, guys. So Nvidia pretty much doing what the overall market is doing. Let's see what AMD is up to. Same thing. So either one of those, I think, are going to be fun to watch today and hopefully trade if we can get the market to pick a direction. So I'll put them on a secondary list, and then we'll move one up based on what looks better. AMD looks good today, actually. No, you know what? They both are perfect. They're both perfectly trading well today. We'll have to see what the market ends up doing. All right, guys, anything else that is outside of the usual suspects, the stuff that's trading with the market? For example, American Airlines is one of them. They have their own thing going on. Definitely going to be watching them today, up 3.5. BABA has been rallying pretty good here. They've been very strong. This will be a nice one to watch. See how some of the Chinese tickers react to this, right? BABA's been on his own mission. And actually, besides yesterday, every other day in here traded very, very well. I didn't trade every day. I think it was just one or two. But it's been in a nice intraday action here on BABA, which we normally don't see that. I'm used to them gapping up and selling right back down, but they've been very strong. Microsoft, very similar to what AMD, Nvidia, Apple, and Amazon. Again, you're getting the same activity on these. So just moving with our buddy here, the SPY, which is now coming back down. So man, a lot of chop, guys. No direction selected yet on what the SPY wants to do. I think as we get closer to 9:30, we might have a better understanding of which way the market wants to go today. So careful if you're trying to catch some of this pre-market action. Very careful on it right now, because it's very, very volatile. Logitech, big drop. Yeah, Jonathan, we looked at that earlier, and the issue with Logitech is I put it in the same bucket as Foot Locker. They can gap up and down very well after earnings, after some big news, but they trade horrible. Foot Locker is the same thing. It reminds me, when I think of Logitech, these two are just not worth it.
European companies, they trade like garbage.
They're just not worth it, man. So and if we had nothing else to watch and this is all we had, Logitech, yeah, I'll put it on my list because we can still observe it if we had nothing else to
I'd
watch.
leave.
Go back to bed.
That was my only choice.
I'll scalp it somehow. But yeah, today especially,
Brother
man,
goes play in the snake pit.
better chances there to to come up with something more positive than trading
Yeah.
Logitech. AMC, no, AMC's fun is over, man. I don't see anything happening here unless you get any kind of, let me look at the right ticker, any kind of huge squeeze with some insane volume. And for me, it's got to get above $15, man.
And David makes a great point too.
Yeah.
Earnings start tomorrow, so save your powder.
That's right.
Don't take terrible trades today.
Yeah, don't waste all your ammo today, my friends. Absolutely. Let's take a look at Meta. Yeah, again, I'm not seeing anything. Let's get the bottom charts to be correct. I'm not seeing anything that looks great on it besides the daily. And again, they closed this gap fairly quickly in just 2 months, which is pretty nice. But I'm not seeing anything just the overall market, right? So if we're looking just at overall market movement and they're not doing anything on their own, I mean, I have enough of that here already that I can look at, right? At Meta today with 289,000 looks decent, but I think our list is going to get better as soon as we start picking a direction on the overall market. All right, with that said, did we look at this one, Screaming Z1 BWEN? No, more of a penny type stock, man. Had a pop yesterday, but again, this type of trading for me just doesn't work, right? For the way I trade. Low flow at 18 million, so it needs volume. If you're going to be trading a low flow, it looks like yesterday you got some volume, 66 million. If you're going to be trading a low flow stock, you need to have volume here. And man, that is an ugly 66 million as well. So it was not even pretty yesterday. So yes, it popped up, it had a decent day from $3 to $5, but it was an ugly move here. So careful on these type of tickers, as we always warn you guys. All right, guys, this list is going to change quite a bit. Let's go over to our community events and announcements. We'll come back. We'll have time for questions as we kind of wait for things to settle out here. Let's look at our community events and then we'll fine tune this list.
All right. Onboarding technology every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, except next Monday is a market holiday. Don't forget, especially this is not one of the bigger holidays that international people know. Of course, we all do in the United States, but MLK Day on Monday, the markets are closed. We will not have onboarding. So that will be Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Correct, Carlos?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, cool. 7 p.m. Tuesday next week. 8 p.m. Tuesday, we're going to have Thor. He's going to be talking about his book, a Q&A, and just an overview, so be sure to check that out. Then on Wednesday, we have psychology. We had Crata last night, should be posted soon. Next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, we've got Mike talking about how to identify what money means to you. Thursday, we've got mentorship with John at 11 and Thor at 8. TradingTerminal.com, where we are building a stockpile of great trading tools for free for traders. Be sure to check that out at TradingTerminal.com. You can get scanners, replay simulator, the Squawk, all kinds of great stuff there that people pay a ton of money for each year. You can get it for free. Live Trading Summit, San Diego, March 2nd and 3rd, starting to fill up, so get your tickets now. 2-day event in San Diego. Can't wait to see you guys there. Peak Capital Trading, we've got one spot left. If you're interested, you can still sign up. That will be shut down after tomorrow. And then still running the winter promo. That's 50% off the Elite Annual membership. And if you're watching on YouTube, you'd like to try out the room, use the promo code PreMarket34 to get a discount off the intro membership, which is 1 calendar week, 5 trading days, unless there's a holiday, which there is on Monday, but it does not recur. It's a one-time payment. It will not bill you again.
All right. Thank you, Norm. Okay, guys, let's get into it. Looking at the overall market here and seeing what the SPY is doing at the moment. Again, still in some chop, pretty much just slightly above the previous day close as we go back and forth here, up and down. So the range is getting a little bit tighter. So hopefully we'll decide soon which direction this thing wants to start trending in, and we can take advantage of it. If you look at the overall, the big picture on the SPY, you can see this area loves to be here. It was there quite a bit for all the way since early November to about mid-December. We kind of used this thing as a support. Then we were stuck in this range for a while. We broke out of that last week, which was nice. Got a nice rally. This was Friday, I believe, right? Friday. And then since then, we've been rallying pretty good here. So let's see if this rally can continue to push higher after today's digestion of what happens with this data that we have received. So with that, we have plenty of time, guys. Very early in the pre-market at the moment. We could take a look at some of the stuff we have. I'm going to do levels a little bit later, just in case we decide to change our list up a little bit. So we can look at some questions you guys might have. We can also look at some tickers that we might that you might have on your end that we have not looked at yet. So looking at NEO here, NEO 1 million shares traded right now. I'm not sure, man. I think that today it might not be a great one. This news doesn't affect them as much, right? These Chinese tickers. The one that I'm gonna keep an eye on today is BABA, though. I do like BABA just because their daily has been so good here. They've been so strong over the last couple of days. So NEO, I know I trade this a lot, I know, but today I'm not sure about this one. I think there's other stuff that looks a little bit better. And trust me, once if we do, right, we could just chop around all day. But if we start breaking down here or pushing higher, our list is going to get very, very nice. Very, very nice. Craigie Ryder says, I ditched the summer t-shirt. No, man, it was warm yesterday. I left the heat on a little too high. So when I came into the office with my sweater, I was like, oh no, it's way too hot. So I just went in and grabbed a t-shirt. But today I got my sweater. I prefer a little bit colder. But with the kids, you can't get it too cold. Why does MULN get so much intraday volume? Let's take a look. What is this? MULN. 40 cents ticker. Now, you have these small penny stocks that are trading this heavy volume, but the dollar amount is not a lot, right? I mean, people can throw 50,000 shares on this thing and it'd be nothing, right? So that's where you get that type of volume. But so that wouldn't matter as much. You wouldn't be looking at volume on a penny stock like this. It's a whole different animal, guys. When you're looking at stocks under $10 and not particularly a low float, because this 40-cent stock doesn't have to be a low float. It can actually be 1.52 billion float. So again, this thing is just not tradable for what we do, right? It's just not tradable. So, but you have a lot of volume here, 300,000 plus a day, just because how cheap it is, right? You could buy tons of stuff on this thing. Hopefully, gamble so that it can move. What is it? 41 cents, 42 cents, and then you can make $200. I mean, I don't know. So that's just, I don't see that being the way we trade. Definitely not the way we trade. I don't see that being a style that I would like at all. We do like it a little bit cold. Yes, we don't like it hot. It gets too humid here, man. That's the problem. That we are both extreme. We're really cold here in the Northeast, or when it does get hot, it is so humid. It is just it's not good. All right. What else, guys? Our possibles list, TSM. Look, guys, look at TSM. This thing is strong today. Up 4.1. Looking to make a new high if it can break from there over at 85.49. So that's looking interesting. This could be a good one for today if you like this one. I have it on my possibles list. I don't think I haven't traded this in a long time. I have traded it before, but it can do pretty good. TSM earnings were really bad, guided 50% less revenue, and their tax exemptions expired. The market still seems to like this, man, right? So something about their guidance maybe was good. Maybe they were expecting it to be worse, right? Because you can have a guidance that's bad, but if it's bad but still better than what they were expecting, it's still positive, right? Well, overall, like net is still positive. Google today is just doing some movement here. Again, there's many tickers that are much better than trading Google. I know they had a nice gap down 2 days ago here, and right to this level at 86. It was a big gap down, recover, and then now yesterday had a nice pop up against the next level on their daily. And today it's just all about the market, really. What is the market going to do for Google? So today is going to be one of those days where you can watch so many different things. This being, one of them, and picking the stock that you like to trade, right? Yeah, we looked at BBBY, so it's over on YouTube. If you were not on with us earlier this morning, here it's just something that's not tradable, man. It really is. It's next to the other one, Carvana, CVNA, two things that are just on the brink of bankruptcy. It's just there's going to be better stuff to trade, right? And this is attractive, especially to newer traders, because newer traders at first, and that's the same thing, right? Lower prices are more attractive at first, mentally. Then you start realizing, it doesn't make sense, right? Trade whatever price you want to trade, as long as your setup is there, right? So be careful. Don't let this fool you. Oh, it's a low price. I can take 500 shares and only use this much buying power, which seems really low. It seems like a steal. But if you can make money, with your strategy on something like this, it's not worth trading. You're better off trading less shares, trading in Apple, and being able to trade your strategy. Which, by the way, you see Apple here pushing higher. Great volume this morning, guys. 2 million. We need to tame this volume and pick a direction. As a SPY looking to trying to break out. Not doing it yet. I have the pre-market 398.45 on that one. Lucid has a catalyst. Well, what's the catalyst on Lucid? Keeps popping up. Yeah. I see that. Up 4%. Yeah, you got some good volume today. It could be interesting. Well, what's the news on Lucid this morning? What they have going on? Might be worth watching today. Let's see where that goes. We haven't looked at Lucid in quite some time. It really has not been in play. But today, looking good here, pushing higher. Up 4.4 volume. Is it news that just broke out? They have a lawsuit and they're popping up. Are they doing the lawsuit, or? That's interesting. That smells fishy, man. You got a lawsuit. If it's a lawsuit against them and they're popping up, oh, they won the lawsuit. Oh, okay. Yes, that's a good. Yeah, that's good. I just don't know how much weight that's gonna have, though. I think that's gonna be very short-lived. Again, my opinion. I don't know how big of an impact this lawsuit had on these guys, but I don't know. To me, it doesn't seem like a great catalyst. But the market's gonna determine that. Here, as you can see, they're pushing up pretty nice here. So let's see if that can actually hold. I don't know. Jose, are you trading BBBY? You sound very excited in chat. Are you trading this? You want this to pop? All right. GME also looks good. GameStop. Yeah, light volume right now. Again, trying to get going here. I'm just for AMC and GameStop. I'm done with these tickers for now. We need to see a massive amount of volume, and hopefully getting above $15 will be great. To trade them above that price. I don't like stocks the way they move here, $5, $10 or less. So that would be the move for me. For me, these are kind of in the back burner at the moment. They're just not doing anything great. GameStop, on the other hand, higher price stocks sitting at 1940. It's a little bit better, but we don't have the volume. We need heavy volume on this thing, guys. For it to get going, to be able to trade this thing. Still hard to borrow, I see, for GameStop. So it must have a high short flow interest, maybe. Let's see. Actually, no, 22%. Not bad. Not bad, actually. It could be so scary to hold this thing short because it can rip up to 100 and something for no reason, right? For no reason. So being short on this thing long term can be tough. Besides American Airlines, I also like the action on a plug. Plug was active earlier this week. Look at the daily on this thing, has been ripping nicely. Yeah, also looks good. You have the drop here, with the SPY coming back up. Yeah, you can add this to your list as well. Nice run here as well. Look at this. Nice run. Does it have any more juice left for today? I think it's going to need the help of the SPY if it does want to do that. SPY looks like it wants to rip, guys. Looks like it wants to go here. let's see, looking real nice. It's a nice move for the market here. We've been hanging out here at 380, now at 398, and it looks like it does want to push higher at the moment, at least struggling with this 398. So we'll see, but it's struggling big time, and we know that's a key level for these guys. This whole entire area here, right? Look at this range we were stuck in for a while. This 395, and I think it was maybe 400. We were stuck there for quite a bit. Broke out a few times, but then came right back into this range. And right now we're just battling with that level at the moment. So let's see if we can get a push higher here. Plug is fun to trade at times. Yeah, I used to trade Plug a lot. I mean, it was when all the EV stuff was happening with the charging station, charge point. You got to remember that CHP. Is it CHPT? Charge point was another one. We traded the heck out of these things at one point, man. EV was just on fire with the, with all the government stuff being passed as well. That helped them get going. Neo, all these, EV type plays were great. But they haven't been lately. Some of them seem to be coming back up a little bit here in the last couple of days. I don't know if it's just because they got something going on that's exciting, or they've just been beat up so much that they got nowhere else to go. They got to go up. They got nowhere else to go after being just slammed. So we'll have to see. Yeah, we looked at Neo. I could put it as a possible. It is starting to get some volume here. I mean, they have volume 1.2. They're up 1.4. Could be interesting. I like Baba slightly better today, especially the way with this daily has been. Might be a little extended, opposed to Neo is not extended. Neo can actually give you some more, another push up here. They're daily too. Look at very interesting. Even on their gap downs, they're finishing their days in the green. So that's interesting. That every day, I think since the 4th, every day since the 4th, they managed to end green as far as the run for the day, right? So open up, gap down, open up, shut up, gap down, shut up. So they've been on a very interesting situation here as far as the daily goes. Not saying this is great trading, but they just seem to want to really get going here and push higher as far as that daily is setting up. All right, let's take a look at our gappers list. See if anything has popped up that looks interesting that we might want to add to the list. Carvana, no. American Airlines is on deck. Lucid getting some love here this morning. Let's add this as, we have it already here, 1.1 million. Okay, up 4.7. TSM looks really good. Nice gap up. And then we have just a ton coming up here. AMD. Let me see if there's anything that sticks out. Netflix is looking interesting, guys. Yeah, let me add Netflix. I just want to have something different than just everything tech, right? Apple, we have Tesla, we have AMD and Nvidia. I'm going to move one of these up, one of the semis up. Both of them looking really good. They're ripping higher here. Let's see which one. Let's move one up here. Let's move AMD today. AMD has 1.4 million. Yeah, let's do that. Let's make a little space here and let's fine tune this list. And I think it'll be good enough time to do levels. All right, so American Airlines stays here. They got their own thing going on. Look at this rally for the last couple of days. Tesla, of course. I mean, this thing is its own world at the moment. So we'll leave that on there. Amazon, between Amazon, Apple, and AMD. Let's see what we can keep here. Amazon is good. Apple is good. Man, both of these are good. Maybe we can. Nah, they're both really good. I'm trying to reduce this list, but both of those look very good. Lucid, you know what? As much as I like Lucid's pop here, I'll let you guys watch this one. You guys can call it out to me if you see something good. I just think it's gonna fade out. I don't think it's gonna really get going. It's my personal opinion. I have nothing to back that up on. I'm just gonna go with something I'm gonna like to watch better than Lucid. Baba's okay. It's not great. I love the daily on Baba. Maybe a possible sell-off if we see some weakness in the market as we get the market open. But I love this here. It can really go either way, just like we had it here a few days ago. That it can really go either way. No, actually, it was here, and it went up pretty nice there. Netflix is interesting, guys. Pushing higher, making a new recent high after was there a gap down, right? Was there a gap down? Yeah, right over here. So definitely officially closing that gap today. I know Megan was looking for this. I wonder if she traded this yesterday, but she was looking for that gap to like officially close like that. I wonder if she did that. And then AMD is stripping. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One too many, but I think we can do levels for all of these, and then we can continue to fine tune as we get closer to 9:30. All right, American Airlines, guys, let's look at here. 116.27 is the best action we've seen in American Airlines in a very long time. 6 million shares traded. That is very, very nice. Low of the pre-market is going to be sitting at, is it 15? Let's mark it over here. I have it here. It's going to be 1578. All right, so slam a level. Wow, that's interesting. So we have this action here, but this is not being marked down as the low of the pre-market. That's fair. I'm looking at here. I'm looking at this range. It's marking this as the low of the pre-market. Am I looking at this wrong? Check your DAS, guys. Let me know if you see the same thing. But these are marked already. Highs and lows of the last two trading days between 5 and 7 a.m. this morning. But for some reason, I'm getting 578. So just make sure these are marked for you there as well. All right. With that said, let's head towards the top. Towards the bottom, guys, you're pretty much set. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time there. You have everything you need. But let's look to the left and see. When's the last time we've been up here? Was May, June timeframe. I'm going to zoom into this action here. We'll slam a few levels over on first here on this 1671. Looks really good. Slam a level there, and then we'll slam another one over at 1736. Good daily stuff there happening on American Airlines. Again, today, very, very interesting action today on American Airlines after just a insane rally in the last couple of days. Here's Tesla trying to find a base, trying to break out of this area where it's been struggling a while, right? It's been having a hard time getting above this. The initial run was here, but came down, made a new low, and then another new low, shot up right to this area, this 124 price tag where they're at. That's actually the previous day close, hanging out right there. Let's see where they want to go today. Doing the overall market stuff, up and down, and then more up again, trying to break towards the bottom, guys. Highs and lows for the last two trading days. Don't need to add anything, but I will add something here over at 128.63. We'll slam something there, and I think we're set for Tesla for right now. Here's Amazon towards the bottom. Really nice stuff. Just going to add the low of the pre-market, 94.13. And you can see highs and lows for the last two trading days. Insane run yesterday, guys. They did very well there. Couple of levels that I want to mark down even towards the bottom here. We have 92.41. Very, very good level. You definitely want to have that on. You can see how many touches we have on here. Couple of days opening and closing right around that area. And then high of the pre-market being set here by the overall volatility of the market, 97. So we'll slam a level at 97. And then towards the top, we'll pick a few off here. We'll pick off 98.30. And then we're going to pick off this one as well, this 101. Not a major area, but you do have some days opening and closing right around there. So that's Amazon looking good. Let's head over to our more of our usual suspects. Apple, very similar activity, guys. You got the drop here, new low, coming back up in the last couple of days towards the bottom, highs and lows for the last two trading days. Today, as we're trying to pick a direction, high of the pre-market, 134.66. And then we also have here 136.80, 136.80, a good spot as well on the daily if we can break out here. Coming back down to the previous day close, looks like, and I assume that gravity is being created by the SPY. Yes, the SPY struggling. A second round here, couldn't break out of 398. Looking forward to see what direction we're going to pick here. Guys, today's going to be one of those great days where you're going to trade amazing. I can feel it. You're going to be just awesome today. Incredible. I can feel it in my gut, but you might need to wait. You might need to wait for this choppiness to settle down. It's going to be just insane when that bell rings, especially with the volume we're seeing on some of these tickers. 7 million, 3.7, 2.2. I mean, it's just madness. American Airlines 6.9. We haven't seen this volume except Tesla. Tesla, again, its own planet. We haven't seen this type of volume in some really long time. So again, just wait and save your ammo. I will hate for you to waste a lot of your bullets right early on, and then you're emotional, and then your setup shows up, and then you don't take it or you don't read it properly, and that's the worst that can happen. So again, just be patient with this process, guys. 108, 10, and 104 also on the daily towards the bottom for BABA, looking really good here. As we're trying to continue to break higher. I mean, look at the run. BABA was at $60 in October. $60 at 114. I mean, man, talk about a move here. And then above 114, where we're sitting at now, let's go into this daily here. We do have 118, 118.08, 120. 78, and then we also all the way up here 125 just in case. Again, I don't think we're going to get to 120 or 125, but we are ready. We are ready if it does, my friends. All right, let's look at Netflix. Netflix here pushing higher this morning. High of the pre-market at the time is 334.69. Towards the bottom, you got plenty highs and lows, previous day close. Even your low of your pre-market is pretty much tagged there with the previous day close as well. So don't need to do anything there. And the last time we've been right around here was when we had this beautiful gap down, right? We had this massive gap down, which just kept selling off. If you guys remember, it just wouldn't stop. It just kept selling off. Man, this was April of last year. Man, I feel like that. It was just like 2 months ago. Time is flying when you're having fun. All right, let's slam a level 348.24 is a good one, and then here we have right over here 340.93. So 2 levels there towards the top, just in case we get going. But again, this thing has had an incredible push up here. Are you reading my affirmations? Yes, I am. I am reading those. So yeah, I mean, it happens to all of us, man, where we just pull the trigger way too early, right? And we realize that, you know, we're just caught in chop. You know, we're getting stopped out left and right, and it's hard to sometimes, you know, pick your foot off the gas and not keep doing what you're doing. It's very difficult, and it happens to all of us. We all go through it, right? You know, and it's important to remember that, you know, we have, what is it, 8 hours of, is it 8 hours of trading, or is it less, 6 hours of trading, whatever it is. It's a lot of hours, you know, and the first 4 are incredible at times. A lot of opportunities with pops, reversals, and all that. So, you know, don't spend it all in the first 10 minutes, right? So that's what I'm saying. Did that yesterday. Yeah, it does suck when you do that, right? So, you know, just be aware of that, right? Have that mindset. Puppet Master, I do not believe Powell speaks today. He spoke yesterday, but I'm not sure if he's talking today. Maybe he might have like an offsite interview or something, right? But yesterday was the talk he had. Was it yesterday or the day before? Again, I'm like Norm right now. These 4-day weeks are messing us up, which, by the way, reminder, we are closed on Monday. So Monday the markets will be closed. There'll be no engineering the markets or pre-market prep on Monday. What about 1 minute ORB traders? Well, if you're trading 1 minute ORBs, yeah, go for it. Go for it. I mean, it's a whole different animal. I don't trade the 1 minute ORB. I think you have to be at an extremely fast paced level. You got to be at a level of like 150. You know, and you know, it's just, I don't trade the 1 minute ORB. It's a tough strategy, right? So if you're at that level, you can trade that. You know, you can trade every time you want. trade the pre-market, trade whenever. But the 1 minute ORB is a tough strategy. It really is. Yeah, you need to be at Andrew's level for the 1 minute ORB. I agree. It is a tough one, man. The decision making you have to make, and then you're making a decision with, you know, not that much information, right? Because what you do when you're waiting 5 minutes, 15 minutes, you're waiting for information for the price action. Hey, tell me what you're thinking right now. Build a story for me. What's the story you're telling me, right? When you have less of the story, you cannot guess the ending, right? The ending is kind of a little blurry. But when you have more of the story, you go, oh, I kind of see what could happen here. You got more outs. But when you don't have that information, man, it's tougher to trade, right? It's much tougher. Not impossible, just tougher. All right, moderators list, guys. Let's bring this over. I got Susan, Thor, Megan, and Mike this morning. Let's go ahead and bring this over here. Over on YouTube, if we haven't done so already, we appreciate if you smack that thumbs up. It helps us out a ton, so thank you for that. As we bring the moderators list over here, we are sitting at 124 likes. We'd love to get above 200, guys. That is like our goal there. So if you can help us there, a couple of people just kind of smack that button, will be amazing. All right, let's look. Oop, mess this up. Okay, let's look at this here. Open this up a little more, and let's see what we got going on this morning. So right now we have, let's start with Susan. She is giving us Meta, Netflix, Nvidia. Thor is watching SPY, Qs, TSM, AMD, and Netflix. And then Megan, we're looking at Roku and Netflix this morning. Mike will be looking at AMD, Netflix, and Meta for today. So, all right, guys, that is what we have. let's take a look at what the overall. We're not gonna wait for Brian because Brian is in Mexico today, so he got there nice and safe yesterday. So very nice. Let's look at the SPY. What the SPY is doing right now. Okay, so coming again, just this chop right now, coming back down to the previous day close. We'll see in 15 minutes which direction it wants to pick, if any, or which is going to go sideways today, right? So again, very, very interesting stuff happening here for the most part. Mark, yeah, guys, thank you for sending Peter all the messages. I'm sure he appreciates it. His daughter, I believe, is still in the hospital into this Friday, right? So she'll be on watch until Friday. So I don't have any updated news from today. But we'll reach out to him and see how everything is doing. So yeah, prayers and thoughts for him, for speedy recovery for him and his family. I'm sure this is tough for any parent to deal with. And just hope his daughter's going to be okay, right? Which she will be. She will be okay. It's just, they're taking, I'm sure, the precautions they need to, right? So with that said, guys, thank you so much for joining the pre-market prep. We will see you guys. Oh, hold on. 191. We have to get 8 more people at 92 now. 8 more likes. We should be able to do that, right? Let's see if we can get 8 more slams on that as we end the show today. And remember, today is Thursday, so we have mentorship, guys. John at 11 a.m. or is it 10 or 11:30? I believe it's one of those. I think it's 11 a.m. And then we have Thor at 8 p.m. tonight. So we got mentorship on. Oh man, you guys are amazing. 244. How we go from 192 to 244? Man, appreciate you guys very, very much. Guys, take care. Have an amazing day. Remember, be patient. Wait for the setup. Do not waste all the ammo in the first 15, 20 minutes. Let this market do its thing. And once it picks a direction, let's just ride the wave. Let's just ride the wave. Today could be a day where you can have an incredible P&L if you time this properly, if the market is going to give it to us. And the way the volume is trading right now, I think the market can give it to us if we pick a direction, but you got to wait for that. You got to wait for that direction to be picked here. So take care, guys. Stay safe.